Good afternoon, everybody. This is Steve Fletcher with a trumpet for my people, August 10th, 2021. And I wanted to share another piece of information with you guys, and this has to do with the third day from the new moon and the connection to David fleeing from evil Saul into the wilderness on the third day from the new moon. Because if we look on the calendar, August 11th, really, based on the Hebrew calendar, isn't anything specific. It's not any type of feast day. It's not any. There's nothing special about it. And so, if we're going to make a connection to our escape, okay, then we may be looking at this example biblically when David had to flee from evil Saul on the third day from the new moon. Okay. And this is found in 1 Samuel chapter 20, starting in verse 4. Then said Jonathan unto David, whatsoever thy soul desireth, I will even do it for thee. Verse 5. And David said unto Jonathan, behold, tomorrow is the new moon, and I should not fail to sit with the king at meat. But let me go, that I may hide myself in the field unto the third day at even. If thy father at all miss me, then say, David earnestly asked leave of me, that he might run to Bethlehem his city, for there is a yearly sacrifice there for all the family. Okay? And the whole story here is that there was a feast that King Saul was putting on for the new moon. It's the new moon feast. And David wanted to test the situation because he knew that Saul was against him and had tried to kill him. And so he created this plan with Jonathan that if your father asks for me, let him know. So the situation here is that David already knew that his life was in danger, and he created a plan with Jonathan. And he said, I'm going to go out into the woods, and I'm going to go out there, and I will hide myself in the field to the third day at even. And if your father asks for me, then tell him I went home for a yearly sacrifice. And what ended up happening then is that Saul got extremely, when the first day happened, and Saul overlooked it, but the second day he was very upset. So the third day came, and Jonathan went out to the field and cast his arrows beyond David and told him to go. Go away, because my father is going to seek your life. My father is going to kill you. Okay? So David going into the wilderness on the third day from the new moon may be the correlation to the timing of our escape and to the timing of those that have to flee into the wilderness, just as David fled into the wilderness. Okay? So if we look at the Torah calendar, okay, and this is interesting. Remember here when it says, David earnestly asked leave of me. If thy father at all miss me, then say, David earnestly asked leave of me, that he might run to Bethlehem his city, for there is a yearly sacrifice there for all the family. Okay. Now look at on the Torah calendar, even on the Hebrew calendar, this is shown. So if you want to look at the Hebrew calendar or at the Torah calendar, I like this because it shows us based on the new moon when the month begins. But see that August 9th, is a new year for tithing animals. Pretty interesting. It's called Rosh Hashanah of the animals. It's a new year for tithing animals. Okay. What did David say? There's a yearly sacrifice there for all the family. I had never seen this connection. Never needed to look at this before. But there is a actual feast day on the first day of the 6th month. It's the new year of tithing animals, and this is what David mentions. It's a yearly sacrifice for the family. And then he's going to go to the 3rd day from the new moon, and so that brings us from the 3rd day of the new moon, between the 11th and 12th of August. Day 1, day 2, day 3, from the 11th and 12th of August. Okay, so the 3rd day of the new moon is actually the timing of the fleeing of David into the wilderness, when Saul, who is a type of Antichrist, against David, who tried to kill David. Jesus is from the line of David, and Saul tried to kill David. Okay, so he's an anti-David, he's an anti-Christ, and he's an evil, spirited king. Okay, well, anyway, this corresponds to the 3rd day when David fled into the wilderness. So I just wanted to share that, give you guys a little bit of perspective on why August 11th could possibly be a good day for our escape. If it's actually on the Hebrew calendar, really nothing. It's not a feast day. But we do have the new year for tithing animals on the first day of the 6th month, and the 3rd day could be the day that David fled into the wilderness. Okay, so I pray you guys are blessed. This is Steve Fletcher with a trumpet for my people, the sign of his coming revealed.